There is one thing that binds us all humans on a common platform. Something with which each of us has been a companion for several thousand years. Something that's so close to us that we often forget that it exists as a separate entity. Thoughts. Whether we like them or hate them, try to control them, are obsessed with them, or terrified of them, or are helpless by their presence. One thing is sure, they are here to stay with us. So much so, that we have accepted them as part of our body, and we cannot be separated from them. But, hold on here for a second. Can we not be, actually separated from them? If we look at our brains, it is a million times more complex than the most advanced supercomputer in the world. The brain cells, or otherwise called the neurons, are 86 billion in number for each brain. There are about 100 trillion connections for all neurons. That roughly means that each neuron talks to 10,000 neurons in 5/100ths of a second. That is being very, very talkative. No wonder your brain is very hungry. Your brain occupies only 2% of the body's weight, but consumes 20% of the body's energy resources. So, what does science say about where the thoughts arise from? We are not clear where the thoughts in the brain arise from. However, scientists have several reasons to believe that it could be the frontal lobe, or the front part of the brain. Of the several million thoughts happening, only few become important. These are especially the one associated with significant life experiences. Experiences that generate noticeable emotions or feelings. The most relevant thoughts are then pushed to a small organ, located deep inside the brain. This organ is the size of a small pea, called amygdala. The amygdala then joins the life experience with a thought to create an emotion or feeling. These are then passed into another organ called the hippocampus, to be converted into a memory. The amygdala and hippocampus are both parts of the limbic system, or the reptilian brain, which prepares you to face a potentially life-threatening situation. Hence fear is one of the most fundamental emotions being processed here. Now, science assumes that every brain is an independent entity. Every brain is completely cut off from the other brain and produces its own thoughts, memories and emotions. If every brain was a completely independent entity, how can we explain the following? Why the exactly same thoughts for all of us, give or take a few exceptions? Why do we not have any control on them? Why the same emotions for all us? And, finally, why the same feelings for all of us? Here, by emotions we mean entities like fear, anger, jealousy, etc. And by feelings, we mean entities like love, gratitude, happiness, etc. Think about this for some time. In the recent years, there has been a tremendous understanding to know the functioning of the human brain. Scientists have developed computers which can connect with brain. And using thought algorithms, people can now control computers or even move artificial limbs. Using such algorithms, people created artificial brain models, like the one shown here called the glass brain. These models allow a person to see the thought activity of his or her brain. The most exciting theory in the recent times, however, comes from Dr. Robert Epstein. He discussed this in an essay in Discover magazine. Epstein is a renowned psychologist, neuroscientist and the former editor-in-chief of Psychology Today magazine. He is a senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology in California, and holds a doctoral degree from Harvard University. He suggested that the brain acts like a transducer, capable of converting one energy form in one medium to another. Such a theory explains some unexplained phenomenon like blind sight, where the blind people can perceive things around them. It also explains mind sight, the ability of some blind people to see clearly before death. And finally, terminal lucidity. Terminal lucidity refers to some people with severe dementia who are able to speak and listen clearly before death. This theory also created a model to explain brain-to-brain, nonverbal communications.
You are speaking from the point of view of an unenlightened person. You are only speculating. Once you are enlightened, you will actually see thoughts. You will see them as different from you. Like in a movie, you see violence. You know it's a movie, isn't it? You don't jump onto the film screen and you don't do things. Similarly here, you become detached from your thoughts. That's what enlightenment is all about. The thoughts will come, but then you can clearly see. That's why one of the teachings is, your thoughts are not your thoughts. We're just looking at thought, nothing will happen. It can be jealous thoughts, angry thoughts, violent thoughts, because let us say you are enlightened, he is not enlightened, he is getting a jealous thought. After some time that thought will pass through you. We will pick up. We often pick up thoughts through the Agnya chakra, and then we broadcast through the bindu behind the head. You are receivers and transmitters. You are living in a world full of unenlightened people, terrible thoughts are there, they will be flowing through you. But if you are enlightened, you will just see them, it will not make you act at all. If you are Ramana or Buddha also, you will get But what are Ramana and Buddha doing? They are seeing those thoughts. They know thoughts will come, like in this atmosphere, if a lorry goes, there is pollution, that pollution will come into this room. Well, it comes to this room, the pollution goes out of this room. Similarly, thoughts will come, thoughts will go. Like Mahatma Gandhi, one day he had murderous thoughts in jail. Then Mahatma Gandhi is a very sensitive person. He began to investigate. Then he found the cook that day in the jail was a murderer. He was being used for cooking, the prison. And therefore, the thoughts get impressed onto food. That food Gandhi had consumed, and Gandhi had murderous thoughts. That's why it's very important who cooks the food at home. So thoughts keep traveling, but they are not your thoughts. They will not affect you if you are enlightened. When you are not enlightened, you identify yourself with the thought. It becomes my thought. You experience the jealousy and you begin acting out of that.
What Sri Bhagavan means is that the thoughts passing through us like a radio picking up multiple radio stations. They are programs which are just passing through us. Like the cars you see on the road. Hence, your behavior should be programmed accordingly. You must just watch them passively, without any reaction, judgment, emotions or feelings. They are not your thoughts. So relax. They have been around for millions of years. You cannot do anything. So, let them just pass through. See the red car, white car, blue car. It's same as an angry thought, jealous thought, happy thought. They are all the same.
To the mind as the donkey. The mind has to be your servant and not your boss. The mind consists of conditioning, beliefs, thoughts. They are making use of your life for their survival. A single thought, if it enters a young person, it can become like a bug in his mind and make use of his life for its survival. That's why one of the words used for these things are memes. Because they say me, 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 me. So that's how they continue their fighting. It could be, let us say, capitalism versus communism. We had the Cold War. These are basically ideas fighting. So what happens, all this is contained in the mind, and then it begins to rule over you. Now it should be it's basically a donkey because there's no sense there. So you should ride over a donkey, not the other way around. The simple thing is, ideas, beliefs, concepts, values, they should not make use of you for their survival. That's why I do not talk in terms of giving up smoking, giving up drinking, eating meat, or womanizing or whatever. I do not preach. All that I do is I open up your heart. Once your heart is open, you very naturally stop smoking, drinking, eating meat, or womanizing, whatever you want talking about. It's all gone because the heart has flowered, not because we put into your concept. Mind is good if you can make use of it, but if it is going to make use of it, you are destroyed. That is what is happening to the unenlightened. In the case of the unenlightened person, the mind is the master. In the case of the enlightened person, the mind is his servant.
Today's technology, especially the IT technology, is bringing us closer to understand our brain. Today, scientists have mapped out the entire genomic sequence of a nematode, with 302 neurons. A human brain has 86 billion neurons. There is, however, another way to understand the brain. The way the ancients in India did. By studying its software. Understanding the behavioral patterns and decoding thoughts. Conditioning, emotions and feelings. It is possible to do that with increase in human consciousness. That is what Sri Bhagavan is attempting to do for the humankind. We are just a door away to understand that the whole humanity is so deeply connected that it is a single living organism. That door has been today unlatched. And you are standing just at the threshold. You just need to open it.